Hello, good evening and welcome. It is Thursday evening and that means it's time for Project Connect. So, last week's brief, Bob Dylan's Eagle Cuff thingy posed some interesting challenges as usual, which is good because that means that the whole thing is working, that we're pushing the boundaries of things and we're getting all sorts of different submissions. As usual, thank you so much for taking part in this. It's great. It gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling inside. Both me and Kate are really pleased that you guys are continuing to take part in this. It's marvellous. Just quickly, I know I'd said that I was going to saw pierce out my efforts, but life got in the way again, so apologies for letting you down and not seeing mine, but why change lifetime habits? This week's sponsor for Project Connect is the wonderful, talented and truly beautiful Charlotte Ross Tattoos. Let's hear a little bit about her. So, Charlotte Ross is a tattooist and painter from Dundee who has been tattooing for over 12 years now. Charlotte says she loves her job. She gets to tattoo flowers, birds and animals on the loveliest people, me included. She's inspired by nature and other passionate artists. She's currently putting together her own private studio in Dundee called Flock, which she says is a calm place for her to make art. And Charlie has chosen this week's Design of the Week. So huge and enormous congratulations to twice in a row double champion Lorna Romanengi. I'm going to let her describe it first and then tell you why Charlotte liked it. So for this week's Project Connect, I decided to go a bit scientific and analytical. First of all, I wanted to analyse this wonderful creature in flight, capturing and studying the motion of an eagle's wings while flying. I got some interesting results, but there was something that just didn't quite click, so I decided to leave it to one side and pursue another train of thought and design. So I did some research on their flight and migration paths. Being an endangered species, wildlife trusts like to track and document the flight paths of certain rescue eagles to learn more from them and make sure they are well and thriving. I decided to use this data, merging together the flight paths of 3 tracked Scottish eagles native to the west coast, Bria, Midge and Shelley. From this data, I designed a silver and fire-stained titanium layered plaque that shows the map of their native habitat. Layered on top of this map is a polished silver pierced sheet showing their combined flight paths around this area. I was quite happy with this design, but there was still something missing: the eagles themselves. So I pulled from my initial research to capture both the flying motion and depict the 3 eagles that I used for my flight path map. And Charlotte says, I feel this design has surpassed the brief. I love the amount of research gone into this piece and I feel it captures everything asked. To step out of the box and find pattern in looking at the eagle's geographical flight paths is great. It's creating a more discrete abstract layer alongside the strength and power in the silhouetted wing shapes, with a masculine but not aggressive tone. I like that it focuses heavily on flight. Flight to birds is freedom, and personal freedom comes across very important to the client. Freedom is power. Honestly, Lorna, take a bow. Stand up right now and take a bow, because this design, the thought process is just out of this world. You're going places, kiddo. Seriously, that is amazing. A worthy winner, as usual, because they're always worthy. In fact, you're all winners in my eyes. But somebody's got to win. So that was a winner. But what caught my eye? Here's my Connect 4. First up is Alex Miles for reasons obvious. Bloody hell, look at this. Look at it. I am into this like a dog eating a tin of beans. I think you've just got yourself a commission, Alex. Well done. Next up is Jane Frost. And I chose her because she started off with this and went, nah. And then moved to this and still went, nah. But then settled on this. Oh yes, one-way ticket to Scots Central, please. That is beautiful. And a clever clasp as well. Well done, Jane. I've chosen Claire Wooler's design here because it's a wee bit different. Because she carved the one unit in wax and then got it cast into multiple pieces, which looks like this, which is pretty darn nice, isn't it? Look at that. Love it. Well done, Claire. And last, but by no means least, is Sarah Anderson. And I chose this because there's a shitload of work went into it and it's absolutely beautiful. Look, it's an eagle catching a hare. Look, did you get it? Well done. 4 interesting submissions as usual. I love trawling through them all and looking for the reasons why I can pick them out. It's always good. Okay, so that's been the Design of the Week and Connect 4. What about the best of the rest? And this week's gallery, sponsored by Charlotte Ross Tattoos. Last week, Mr. Dillon's gone. He's happy. He's away touring the world or doing something eccentric. Over this week. Okay, our client this week is a Miss Thunberg who wants a reminder to keep going with an open-ended budget but as economical as possible. So what's the brief? The client is a fierce campaigner for climate change awareness and has made a huge impact in such a short time. However, as always with success, there comes a downside. Greta's world is filled with angry, confused people who somehow don't get that she just wants the world she lives in not to be ablaze by the time she is their age. It is hard for her to maintain the fight, so she has commissioned us to create a ring for her which will ground, inspire and encourage her to keep going. As an autistic, she interprets the world a little differently from most people, leading her to be misunderstood or criticised by those who aren't willing to accept that some people are just different. However, Greta sees her autism as a superpower and wishes the ring to be a symbol of her belief. The ring is to be influenced by climate change, global warming and the effects of mankind's disastrous environmental policies have had on our planet. The piece will be a constant reminder to what she has achieved and the possibilities of a different future. See, here's my thoughts on this. Right, I think it's definitely going to be a wax carving. I made a few years ago a kind of eroded ring, and I've always liked the look of it. And I always come back to it, and I tell clients about it and tell the story of it. So that's what I think something to do with erosion is going to be good. I want to make it look kind of organic and natural. I think, given the brief about being as economical as possible, I think what I would do is definitely make it a silver. And I would sandcast it using recycled materials. But what I want to do is to try some stone in place casting while we're doing the kind of Delft clay casting. A little bit like this. Here's an image or two from my summer school 3 students last year. So both of these were sand cast with the stones in place. Now look at that eroded natural look to it, and in particular this one as well. That's the kind of look I'm going for. See that kind of vacant empty space that's there, but it's been filled by the stones that were being used there. I think that's the perfect look for this gig. So I wanted to sand cast, use stones and cast them in that kind of eroded area, and what I wanted to use was garnets, because apparently garnets sharpen the perception of yourself and others. They inspire contemplation and truthfulness, and they have the power to protect your standings and your beliefs. So I thought the symbolism of that against the silver and the erosion, and I would obviously oxidise the silver as well and rub a wee bit back. So what would happen is you would get the contrast of brushed silver, oxidised, and then the red randomly scattered garnets as well. So I thought that would look rather nice.
It's been a hard day on the planet. How much is it all worth? It's getting harder to understand it. Things are tough all over on earth. It's hot.
In the event that this fantastic voyage should turn to erosion and we never get old, remember it's true. Dignity is valuable, but our lives are valuable too.
So here's what I've came up with. Get a pencil here. It's erosion. I'm definitely going, you know, this part here as if it's been eaten away, etc., and it's quite rugged, etc. So I started drawing this and then realised that it was quite beefy, it was quite meaty. And of course our client's a wee petite thing. So what I want to do at the back, and I don't know if you're getting this from here, this is kind of like rocks. This is quite a rocky thing. And I want to maybe do that at the back, so it's going to be a kind of combination of the top of it with this kind of eroded bit and then kind of rocks here. Okay, so here's where I've got to with it. I'm trying my best to get the detail in there. Obviously it looks nothing like that, but that's just the way I work. So you can see the kind of eroded parts there. Erono. And I've put another one round the back there. I'll try and get the light to flash away in it so you can see the kind of representation of erosion, and whether by kind of wear and tear or acidity or whatever I had in my head. I don't know what just fell out of my head. My head's mince. But we can see the kind of rock kind of formation we've put around there for kind of earth, to represent earth basically. I don't know, I think it'll look quite good when it's cast. I'm not sure all the detail with the granules in it would cast, but we'll see what happens. And what I would do is try and scatter some garnets in the wee kind of holes there when we were sand casting, and just basically see what happens. So I quite like it. I quite like it. Look at that bloody mess. I'm good at making a mess. There we go. I quite like it actually. It's nothing like what I thought it would be when I first started this morning, but I don't know. It's got a potential in it. You guys will knock it out of the park as usual, I'd imagine. Put me to shame. Your turn now. Let's see what you come up with. I hope it's a good brief for you. I hope you take something from it, because I think it's quite cool. So, usual, please tag me and Kate in your efforts and let us know how you're doing and getting on. It's always nice to see the progress. Get your not applications, submissions in by 10 AM next Thursday. That would be great. Everyone was on time this week, which pleases me. And both Kate and I have been discussing how to make the Connect exhibition work. So please keep a hold of everything you do with us, whether it's your designs, your prototypes, your carvings, or your actual pieces. Okay, please keep hold of them, because we really want to make this work. All right. I don't think there's anything left for me to say apart from stay safe, keep well, be kind. I'll see you next week.